All right, we're finally back. Hardheaded, I forget what we're called.
Hardheaded Productions.
Podcast number 26, because 25 never actually got aired. That's my fault. So we're going to have back-to-back episodes according to YouTube, but they're 3 weeks apart. So, yeah.
All right.
So, yeah, I was out. I was sick last week and working the week before, so shit couldn't happen.
Okay.
So what's new, guys?
Nothing. College football. Like, UCLA made a historic comeback.
Awesome.
And everyone's giving me crap before, and I got the last lap, so I was happy.
I'm happy, too, because I can't stand the SEC. I'm tired of hearing about the SEC. All they got this year, they got Auburn and Alabama. Nothing else. And Pac-12 was strong, and I'm glad we won because, you know, I'm an SC guy, but I will root for UCLA when they play other teams. Okay. I'm happy they came back, happy they won. I enjoyed it. Being a California guy, I enjoyed it greatly.
Nice.
Yeah, I stopped watching that game in the third.
No.
And then didn't even know they won until later in the evening.
Yeah. It was
but I recorded the they replayed it on Fox Sports 1, and I recorded it later Sunday night. So I ended up going to the movies on Sunday night, and then I checked on my phone, and like 45, 44, I'm like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
So then luckily the replay was on, and I was able to then, after coming back from the movies, I watched the fourth quarter.
Okay.
So I watched everything up in the third, and I was like, man, I'm fucking done, dude.
Yeah.
I was so pissed off at that game.
That's why you never give up.
Oh, I didn't give up. I just got bored of watching them getting their ass beat.
Well, yeah, but more of the story is never give up. Like the Patriots-Falcons game.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah. Same thing, yeah.
Fantasy football, I got my team. I'm
Okay.
ready to go. Tom Brady's going to lead me.
All Raiders?
No, I have one Raider this year. That's it.
Mm.
And, yeah, Michael Crabtree.
I'm not doing fantasy again this year. I think this is my second year in a row of not doing any fantasy, and I enjoy it.
Okay.
That way I can actually enjoy football games again now, instead of rooting for some weird player that, or rooting against somebody because, I don't know. I think fantasy football took away from rooting for your team.
What?
Because everybody's now rooting for just individual players. So, yeah, I haven't done fantasy. Didn't do it last year, didn't do it this year.
Okay.
I'm on DraftKings,
Okay.
so I'll pick fantasy players for that, but not in like a league to where it's,
like
10 people, 12 people, doing all that kind of bullshit.
And then
So yeah, football starts tomorrow, right?
tomorrow, yeah,
Yep.
Patriots and who do they play?
Isn't there 2 games?
No, there's 2 games Monday. There's one game Thursday, then everything else Sunday, then two Monday night games, I believe.
Yeah, Patriots and Kansas City plays tomorrow.
That's right. Yeah.
Is it
In Kansas City, I believe, isn't it?
I have no idea.
They're tough at home usually. They're known to be tough at home, so that could be a tough game.
That's a tough stadium to play in.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about this time of year. When you get into
December,
when it gets cold, and I mean, Patriots play outside anyways, but
the ball's all hard. It's like a rock. Yeah.
well, no, they'll deflate the balls. New England's coming in.
Yeah. Well,
I was just hearing this thing. So, okay, so we're talking football. What do you think of Ezekiel Elliott?
he did. He got suspended 6 games. That's his fault. He did his own grave. I have no sympathy for him.
But but do you think he got suspended 6 games for which crime?
Which crime? Okay, see, I think what a lot of crimes he did. That assault and battery thing.
Yeah, but that whole
got
thing
cleared.
Yeah.
And see, that's the thing I have a problem with. If he got suspended for that, that's not right. Because Ray Rice, he got supposed to be suspended for 2 games until that TMZ video came out and put a punching him in the face, and then he'd banned from the NFL. So I think if it's for that incident only, it should be sent for like 2 games or 4 games. Or he got cleared.
The one where he grabbed the chick's top, that one, and pulled her top down?
He didn't get charged for that, did he?
No, I think that's the one so there's a couple things. One, I guess he has some sort of domestic violence kind of thing.
Yeah.
That still has to go to trial.
Yeah.
But I guess they said basically what they're saying is it's kind of like the NFL's own lady that does their investigations said basically no games. It's kind of a bullshit story.
Yeah.
It's a weak.
But then he has some other things with carrying a gun and doing some coke and smoking some weed and doing the bar fights.
Yeah.
And then I guess there was some incident where he grabbed some chick's top and pulled it down. There's video of that.
St. Patrick's Day, yeah.
Yeah, there's video of that now.
Yeah.
So that just came out, and I think what they're doing is if he's capable of doing that, then he's capable of doing the other. Yeah. So we're going to suspend him 6 games.
I think it's partly like what John just said, and then also because they dropped the ball on other things in the past, we're going to get this one right, and we're going to penalize this guy
Yeah.
and set a precedent. So later on, any other things come up.
How do you get 4 games for deflating a ball and 6 games for truly fucking up?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just,
It's Roger Goodell. That's his.
Yeah,
game.
exactly.
And then the Triple G fights next week.
next
16th.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a UFC fight this week, and then the Triple G Canelo fight is in 2 weeks. Yeah.
2 weeks, yeah.
Or week and a half.
Who's fighting UFC?
It's Demetrius Johnson versus Ray Borg, Amanda Nunez versus Yevchenko, which is that fight got scrapped from 2 cards ago or 3 cards ago because Nunez ended up having some real liver kind of.
It's really sick. Yeah.
Yeah, she was having a hard time making weight, so they ended up having to pull her from that fight.
Okay.
Medically, she was pulled from that fight. But now I guess she's ready for this fight. So far, it looks. I mean, I haven't watched any of the behind the scenes but they're called embedded. I think they call them on. But yeah, it's that's the fight this Saturday.
And Dos Santos and.
Oh yeah, Junior Dos Santos and I forget he's not Junior Dos Santos. He's not fighting. Junior Dos Santos. That's an old thing. Junior Dos Santos got popped for PEDs. Well, not really PEDs. He got popped for he got popped for a weird thing, but it still popped on USADA's rules, so he got scrapped from that card. So that Nagano, I think they were trying to bring somebody else to fight Nagano, and they couldn't find anybody. But there is another couple of fights. I think Rafael Dos Anjos is on that fight.
Okay.
RDA. And then also Jeremy Stevens and Gilbert Melendez is on that fight, which that fight is going to be a good fucking fight. I think that's a fight that kicks off the main event, or it may be the final of the prelims.
Okay.
But that fight, Jeremy Stevens and Gilbert Melendez,
and then
will be a great fight. That'll be probably fight of the night for sure.
What's Bone Jones screwing up again?
Yeah, John Bones Jones, man, comes out, fights DC, head kicks him like nothing, and then all of a sudden ends up popping for something else. So has he been fighting dirty this whole time? Is that the thing now?
Right, dirty.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what it kind of seems.
So,
it seems definitely like he. I don't know. There's so many little things now that have happened in his life. I wasn't happy with the result of that fight. I wanted DC to win because I think John Jones needs a loss to make him humble.
Okay.
And I said that 5 years ago.
Right.
And then I thought, all right, all this problems, this suspension, this 1 year suspension, then a 2 year suspension, all this stuff going on with him. I thought, all right, finally, like his interviews coming into that DC fight, I thought, man, he's like humble now. It's different. It's a different John Jones. In his interview after the fight, I thought he was different. I thought, man, I thought, man, he's there's actually something to this kid now. Maybe he has humbled himself. Maybe he has learned his lesson in life, and now he's going to be more focused and be a stand-up man and a role model. Yeah. And nope,
that messed up again.
So, and here's the thing, I guess. So that what he got popped for is like this really like high-end like designer like steroid that is not cheap.
Right.
It's not. It's a very expensive. There's something like from what I heard, it's like either high hundreds or thousands of dollars per bottle.
Oh, jeez.
Of this stuff, and you get like 30 pills per bottle. So you're talking maybe $100 a pill, or something. I mean, maybe $50 a pill, somewhere around there, something like that. $30 to $50 per pill. That's not something. I mean, he's making tons of money, but that's not something that somebody's going to slip him, like on the side, or like, oh, we're going to fuck with him.
Yeah.
And it's supposedly it's a drug that cannot get tested in your blood system. It is only tested in urine.
Wow.
So that's why he popped. Like, so people got, oh, well, it didn't test in his blood. Well, this one doesn't show up in your blood. This one goes through your system in 24 to 48 hours.
Oh, wow.
From when you take it to when it's out is like, and it gives you full like. It amps you up.
Right.
It's and so maybe he took it and then realized, hey, if I drink, I think he took it before weigh-ins and he got popped before weigh-ins. So he took it when he was cutting water, which makes sense because if you're cutting your water weight to make weigh-ins, then you're gonna flush your system out afterwards. You're just releasing, you're sweating water out, you're pissing a lot of water out, and then you're so dehydrated at the weigh-ins, and then if you took it then 24 hours before the fight, you're like, all right, I'm going to be amped up on this thing. But you're going to take this massive amounts of water gain after to flush that, to completely flush that out.
Yeah.
There's some shit going on there, dude. Like that. This isn't a. It's a designer steroid. It's not like some
your boy in the alley or nothing. No,
it's not this
good stuff.
It's not this dick pill thing like he took before. Like, supposedly, this is now a legit like. So then but he passed the one. He passed the post.
Okay.
But the post was the blood one.
Oh.
So the post fight was blood, and he passed that. But the pre-urine he failed.
Oh, wow.
So and the people in the know that talk about the steroid say it does not show up in blood; it only shows up in urine.
Wow.
Then,
So when you get into the details of what this drug actually is, it's not like somebody just slipped it to him, or it wasn't a tainted supplement or tainted something else. Like this has to be that drug.
Yeah.
And it's in a series of other things you take with it. I mean, Chael Sonnen was who's fought before and was busted before and knows a lot about steroids because he's admitted taking so many things.
Yeah.
He was the one that fully went off on this and basically described everything in detail about it. So it's kind of like,
Yeah. Well, funny still.
I trust the guy who admits to using steroids and trust what his regime and chemicals and stuff he was taking.
Yeah.
I trust that guy's opinion because he was the one taking them.
Yeah.
So,
well, speaking of steroids, this dumbass bodybuilder Rich Piana died. Overdose.
Oh, he did?
Oh, yeah, he died. He's an idiot on cocaine.
Oh,
and
dude,
steroids.
I heard about that.
Oh, I have no sympathy with that dumbass.
Oh, he was a full-on
He's a
juice
fucking
head, dude.
douchebag.
Yeah.
He was.
I saw his like Twitter or Instagram or maybe it might have been YouTube videos or something. I saw that guy.
5%'s dead. That is
Wow.
it. Oh yeah, I had no sympathy.
He was out here in LA all the time, huh?
Yeah, like my
Hollywood,
friends
LA.
met him all the time. Yeah, he's a nice guy. Oh, some of my friends are a nice guy, but my friend who's in the sports industry, he's a nice guy, but he's like behind the scenes a douchebag. Like he did some other stuff, and what most meatheads do, abuse wives, hit wives,
Well,
and so most of them do. Not
Yeah.
all of them.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying that's a part of the aggression and steroids and things brings that out in people.
Yeah.
So
There was a chick that was on a roid rage, and she shot her husband or something.
Oh,
it's like she's like a wrestler or something back in the day, and she's still in jail for like I think doing life for it or something. Yeah.
So I tell you, rest in peace, but don't do steroids because you're an idiot if you do. So 5%, it's dead. Sorry.
yeah, I remember stumbling on I think it was YouTube channels of that guy working out. He was working out with a guy from the Mountain from the Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah.
He was working out with him in some video and stuff, and then
Mm-hmm.
like going out to eat or something like that. And so, like he was like has a blog. Like he had a following.
Yeah,
you know,
he did. Yeah.
But,
my cousin used to follow him.
Flash in the pan, huh?
Yeah. Oh, and the one thing that pissed me off is, I guess just like you can tell this kid he's a disabled kid. Like you can just tell from his physical presence.
Yeah.
And like he kind of trolled him and his wife or whatever. So this guy gets all paranoid and gets a gun. I couldn't sleep at night. Blah blah. I'm like, dude, you're afraid of a little 12-year-old kid. So I guess they confront him, and they meet and go, oh hey, let's slap box for a little bit. And so he does okay. They like. Kept on slapping the head hard, like purpose. I'm like, dude, this kid's freaking like disabled. He hit him like way too hard. Like you're a fucking douchebag. So I'm like, screw that guy. So you bully people, you're an idiot. It is I hate douchebags. I hate meatheads. So
didn't his wife like leave him for somebody else though too a while ago or something?
I have no. I know he had a hot girlfriend now. I don't know. Yeah, did. So, but if she had kids, if I don't know if they had kids or not, but if they did, feel sorry for them. But
well, she's single.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, start to sell them Mercedes and the Lamborghinis. And,
Cha-ching. Yep.
Yeah.
Yard sale.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, most of his fame is based on like likes and followers on Instagram and things like that. Like, he probably didn't build like a fucking wealthy empire. He probably wasn't building like property and things like that, like things of actual wealth.
Yeah.
You know,
like he had his own clothing, like 5% clothing company, and like he was at the Olympia all the time, and so that was a pretty big thing. But yeah, it was mostly on Instagram and this type of everyone does. Go to Venice Beach, see all these other meatheads.
Yeah.
The little section they all work out.
Muscle Beach,
the Mecca. Everyone goes there.
Gold's Gym.
You see Hulk Hogan and Mr. T there.
Yeah, Lou Ferrigno, all those guys back in the day.
Yeah.
Chuck Norris. But yeah, don't do steroids. So what else is sports is going on?
College football.
What we talked about already.
Okay. But,
NFL, basketball.
NFL starting.
Well, you want to talk more about college football?
Oh, a little bit, yeah.
All right, go for
Talk
it.
about your USC victory.
Well, that was good, and it was good. I'm glad they had a hard game. People thought people look at the name of the team like, oh, they're going to beat them. No, this team's been good lately. They gave Wisconsin a hard.
It don't matter if you're good or not. If you're unranked, you should walk through teams.
True, but it's like
if you're ranked number 4, you should walk through an unranked team.
Then some
You
teams
should
get ranked.
cover the spread at least.
Some teams get ranked because of the name. Texas got ranked. Texas got smoked at home. So they got ranked because they're Texas. They didn't get ranked because they earned it.
Yeah.
This team should be ranked because they did earn it, but they didn't get ranked because
So do you
of the name.
I mean, now SC lost a couple spots. They're ranked 6 now.
Yeah,
Are they getting ranked because of their name as well?
partly,
Okay.
but they're about where they should be. I didn't want them at 4 in the first place. I thought they were probably 6 or 7. Another 6, but they play Stanford this weekend, and whoever wins that,
good game.
That's always a good game. It's always a hard game.
What's Stanford rank right now?
13, 12, something like that.
So
What time is that?
They'll swap.
Do you know what time the game is? Saturday?
I think 5 or something like that.
5, okay.
Is it a 5 o'clock game?
Yeah.
Are they at home or are they at Stanford?
We're at home,
Okay.
but it's a good wake-up call.
What time do you have to get there then? What time are you suiting up? You said we're at home, so I just want to make sure.
I wish. Trust me, I wish.
Just want to what time you're actually suiting up at.
But,
People say we. I do it too.
Yeah, we all do it.
Let me see where they're. I'm looking it up right now.
I think it's a 5 o'clock game. It's on Fox, I think. It's the Fox game with the day or whatever.
Oh, it should be how to play for the boys.
It's 5:30 game.
Yeah.
So you have that and the fight.
Yeah, 6 versus Stanford. 6 versus Stanford's 14th.
14th, okay.
Okay.
Well, that's always a good game no matter what. It's just two teams. It's a conference game. It's always a battle. But I'm just glad that Pac-12 did really good because Pac-12 West Coast gets undercut.
Yeah.
And it's just I'm tired of SEC this, SEC that. It's like Pac-12. I think Pac-12, if I'm correct, went undefeated for the whole weekend, which is awesome. So no other conference did that. So that was a good thing to see. But anyway, moving on to the next subject.
Yeah, so we touched on football. Pro football starts.
Yeah. Lonzo Ball made the news again.
What I heard something about a show or something they have.
Well, yeah, they had a reality show on Facebook. I guess it's getting a lot of views. And then he had his own Follow the brand in the Philippines just launched. So, yeah. Big Ball Band's going global now, everybody.
Well, that's probably where they make them anyways.
Probably.
He's just viewing the factory tour, dude.
And then, again, like Lonzo Ball said, like, Nas isn't, Lonzo Ball said Nas isn't hip-hop. No one listens to Nas anymore. Like, hip-hop is Future, Migos, all these new rappers. And a lot of celebrities got pissed off on that, and it was bad. Like, you know, Lonzo, from Chino Hills, like, you don't know anything about hip-hop. And it's pretty funny. Like, yeah, we can't say anything. Yeah, it's true. But he got a lot of stuff for that, so I guess it's this new generation thing, I guess. They don't know the history of...
We don't have a slums at Chino Hills.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Downtown Chino, I guess.
No, there is a slums at Chino Hills, actually. It's called Los Serranos.
Yeah.
There's some areas around Los Serranos that are very...
A little dicey, yeah.
Little older neighborhood, I should say.
Right.
So, yeah, and whatever apartment building that some of our friends live in.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to name names.
All right.
I'm running enough trouble as it is this week.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, football. So what's your prediction right now of how many games the Raiders are going to win?
We'll be 10-6.
10-6.
10-6. Yep. The hardest team to think we're going to have to toss up is the Patriots, Chiefs, and the Cowboys, and maybe the Giants.
And the Cardinals. Do you play the Cardinals? No, that's different division.
Different division.
Yeah, who's in your division right now? It's
KC,
Cardinals or no? So why do I keep saying the Cardinals?
Kansas City, San Diego, Denver.
Oh, Denver.
Yeah.
Well, you might. Yeah,
We can beat Denver. This KC is gonna.
Do you meet Denver? I think KC you split with them.
Yeah. Okay.
I think Denver you might split with them too.
All right.
When you win at home,
Yeah,
they win at
went
home. Because Kansas City's a tough place to play. It is.
And then the Giants and Cowboys. Those are good teams. And the Patriots.
When do you play the Cowboys though?
We played them after the Patriots. I think like November 20-something.
Is Ezekiel Elliott going to be back?
He'll be back, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's a tough game then.
So, and the Patriots is a toss-up game. So, I don't mind losing the Patriots in the regular season. If we play in the playoffs, that's
Who do you said you play the Giants this year?
Yeah.
So you play the NFC North.
North, yeah. Redskins,
Cowboys, Giants, Eagles.
Yeah. So I'd say 10-6.
I don't know. Eagles might step up too.
Yeah, I think the Buccaneers are a sleeper team to be watched out for, but
yeah, but they're not
that's in
NFC
the
North.
NFC North. Yeah, but
No, the Buccaneers aren't. There's only 4 teams.
No, I'm saying it's sleep in general, like the sleeper team in general. The Buccaneers might make some noise.
Yeah, because they're the NFC South, right?
Yeah.
With Atlanta, New Orleans, and who else is in that? I'm bad. I mean, that's
Panthers.
It might be.
Yeah.
Jaguars. I don't know.
No, Jaguars are AFC teams.
How many years at the Oakland Mausoleum they have left?
2020. We're out of here.
2020.
So hopefully we win a championship for Beast Mode in Oakland, and then go to Vegas, start a new chapter. That's what I'm thinking. So I say 10-6.
Oh yeah, you have Skittles on your team now, huh?
So, what about you, Us? Your team, pick a team.
He's a Rams fan.
The Rams. I'll be on. If they do 500, I'll be happy. If they go 8-8, I'll be thrilled.
Okay.
Not expecting too much. I mean, we have a decent defense, but offense doesn't move the ball consistently.
Do you think Goff will have his breakout year, or do you think he'll be a bust? I think it's gonna be a bust.
I think he'll do better.
You can do better. Okay.
I'm not gonna put him in the Pro Bowl or anything, but I think he'll do better. You know?
Okay.
What was your guys' record last year? The Rams
4-12.
All right.
Went 4-4, and then just crapped out after that.
What were the Raiders' record last year?
I think we were 11-5. Yeah.
You were 11-5.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Did you make the playoffs?
Yeah.
Win in 11.
We made the playoffs. And
you did?
Yeah. Derek Carr got hurt, and then that went downhill from there.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
So you might go 10-6 in this.
Yeah.
Year. So it's going to be a disappointing season then.
Super Bowl or bust. The way I see it.
Well, 10-6 probably you might not make the playoffs.
You might get a wild card.
Yeah, probably wild card. Yeah. I mean, this is the only team that if we play in the playoffs, the only team I'm worried about is the Steelers and Patriots, and maybe KC. But other than that, I'm fine.
I think 10-6 is you might do 10-6.
Yeah.
I'd be happy with 4 wins. That'd be double what the Niners did last year.
Right. Gappett's your man. Oh, who's the quarterback now? Gappett?
I think so. Yeah.
Blaine Gabbert.
Blaine Gabbert. Yeah.
Good luck with that. But you drafted good this year, though. I'll give you that.
We'll see. I mean, it's whatever. Dude. It's rebuilding. We're rebuilding. We're rebuilding for a few years. It's fine. It goes in cycles.
Yeah.
So did you hear what Ray Lewis said about Kaepernick?
Yeah, about
that Baltimore was going to sign him until Kaepernick's girlfriend started tweeting some racist shit.
I'd be so. I'd break up with her. But what were you thinking? You just cost me millions of dollars now. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. See, it's Kaepernick has problems around him.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, just things he says, things he does, and now things that people are associated to him are saying and doing.
Yeah.
So,
and he's not good enough to have those problems.
Yeah.
You know, you can win Super Bowls and you can get by with that, but you just.
Yeah, but see, there's something I just saw. I don't know. Somebody was spouting off about it. Like I don't know, Spike Lee and somebody had like these rallies and sit-ins in front of the NFL.
Yeah.
And this one guy was on TV talking about Kaepernick. If you look at all the current rankings of quarterbacks, he's like ranked 17th or something like that.
Wow.
Well, there's 32 teams.
Yeah,
so. But
I mean, he's good enough to stay in the league, but he
may be ranked 17th as far as
show.
Quarterback rating or something like that. But also, teams are going to different style. Different teams have different styles of quarterback, and they want a certain style to fit their scheme.
Yeah.
He is a scrambling quarterback that can't throw that far.
Yeah.
A lot of teams don't want that. They want the pocket quarterback to read
pass,
defenses and see how the game comes to them in a way and be able to quick react. And if you need to run. But he's a run-first mentality because he can't throw more than 35 yards, 40 yards down the field. So,
and that's how people got RG3 got exposed like that.
Yep.
Kaepernick, Michael Vick,
Derek Carr.
He can throw the ball. He's fine. So we'll see though. I mean, that sucks. I mean, I'd be pissed.
Oh yeah, your girlfriend's just cost you money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Kaepernick made his living off one good season.
Yeah.
Got the Super Bowl. I'm going to give him that. He did get that.
And he came in. He was a replacement in that season.
Yeah.
Alex Smith.
He came in the game 4, game 5 of that year.
Yeah. But you got by on one decent season. One hit wonder.
And that's the thing, because he came in and he was different enough running-wise and things like that to where, I think it was 2 seasons. He came in game 5 or game 6 of 1 year. I don't know if I think that's the year they took him to the Super Bowl. But then the next year had a decent season too, and they because they beat Green Bay 2 years. He beat Green Bay 2 years in a row in the playoffs. But because they didn't like the first year he came in and ran all over the place, and teams didn't know what to do with him.
Couldn't
what
catch
against
him.
that.
Yeah.
The next year they kind of made him more of a pocket quarterback, and he didn't run at all hardly. Excuse me, until the playoffs started, and then he started running around again.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody thought he was going to be this pocket quarterback, and then the playoffs happened, and Harbaugh turned him loose, and he just ran all over the place again, which I think was a wise strategy. Hold him back during the year, hold him back during the year, hold him back during the year, and then as soon as the playoffs start, run loose.
Right.
Yeah.
So, well.
We'll see.
But yeah, I'd be happy with 4 wins.
4 wins.
Yeah.
Probably beat the Rams twice again. That'd be nice.
Our Rams defense keeps them in the game, but the offense just doesn't produce. It can't get that score when they need it or whatever, and it's frustrating because then your defense is on the field too long. They get tired and you start getting scored on and everything.
Yeah.
Actually, our defense. I think this is Ken Norton's last year for him as a defensive coach because our defense sucked during the preseason, and I'm worried about it. But we'll see what happens. We will see. But
Yeah, well, so that's enough of football.
sports. Yeah.
Baseball's in its stretch run in September.
Yeah, my team's not doing so hot right now.
Yeah, we're not.
Well, they're still way ahead, so
Yeah, that's good and all, but you want to maintain a certain level of pace. You know?
Oh yeah, but I wouldn't panic yet. I mean, you'd have to totally.
Nah, I'm not panicking. Like I said, we were talking a bit earlier that we don't even have our full team lineup back. I mean, Seager and Bellinger haven't been in the lineup together in I don't know how many 15, 20 games, something like that.
And the games are still close. I mean, now they're getting blown out every night. That'd be different. But their games are still.
The pitching's still solid.
innings,
They're still getting 6-7 innings. I mean, Ryu pitched a great game last night. They allowed 1 run. So even in San Diego, our starting pitchers are basically only allowing 1 run, maybe 2 runs, 3 runs, something like that. But getting 6, 7, 8 strikeouts here and there. Yeah. So it's still the pitching's still quality. That just run support isn't there right now. They've been leaving a lot of runners on base. So it's just a matter of adjusting that lineup a little bit, getting key people back into it. And you have the September call-ups right now. So the last 5-6 days have been trying out a bunch of new people in there that are. Okay, now, for a week or two, try them out, see what they can do. If you think they're going to help, then you put them on the playoff roster.
Yeah.
But, Ether's back, and because he's, he had a broken leg last year and had a neck problem, back problem this year. Yeah. So, but there's a lot of other young guys right now that are, they started some guy 2 or 3 games in a row that he's, was playing in Oklahoma before. So it was, not even he's in the minor league team. So now it's his first real in the show kind of thing. And they'll weed those guys out. They'll see guys that can actually, you can hit or you can run, or you can fill in this spot or fill in that spot. But
pinch hitters and stuff. Yeah.
And having that lead in, Arizona's won 13 games in a row or something like that, and they're still 13 games behind us, or 12 games behind us or something like that. I forget exactly what it is, but
somewhere in there.
Problem is we just lost 2 to them. Yeah. So that's really losing 2 to them is really losing. 2 games is 4 points. So
last night they had Greinke going. I mean, Greinke might get Cy Young this year, the way he's going. So
well, yeah. I don't know what his wins are though.
17-2 or something like that.
Okay. Oh wow. Yeah, so he's got 1 game more. He's got 1 win more than Kershaw. And Kershaw was out for a month.
Yeah.
And hockey season's coming back next month.
Is it almost time for preseason and stuff?
Yeah, they get into preseason in October. And then, September, October, into September, usually beginning of October, and then the season usually starts right in November. Let's see where the Dodgers are actually listed.
Did Kings and Ducks?
We're 11.5 games up, and the Diamondbacks have won 13 in a row. We're still 11.5 up. So I think our magic number is 13 at this point.
Drafting, I don't know. I'm not a Kings fan. So,
and my phone rings again. I hate the house phone. Yep. So we gotta listen to that. What were you saying about the Kings? Or you were saying DraftKings?
Yeah, NFL King.
I was asking if the Ducks and Kings draft well this year.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know if you follow draft or not.
Yeah, I don't follow the draft.
I don't follow any draft. I think it's funny. NFL draft is on air for 4 or 5 days or something like that. And, it's this big thing, and NBA drafts is big. I don't watch any draft stuff. I don't care.
I love the NFL draft and NBA draft. I try to watch.
Once you make the team, then I'll watch.
I watch the first 10 picks, and I'm about done with it because it takes forever. It takes forever to
it does
pick one player.
Yeah.
I'll look at the paper the next day, find out who got drafted where, if it's a name I recognize. So that's the thing. Like college, I mean, I don't really watch college or international hockey that much, so I don't really know any of these players coming in. So it's kind of the same thing with, you know, a baseball draft. Like, I don't know any of these players. I don't watch college baseball. I don't watch any minor league. Like
some of our high school guys.
Some of our high school guys. Like, what? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I don't know these people.
And then I guess the U.S. qualified for the World Cup last night. The soccer game for World Cup qualifying.
I forgot who they beat. They beat I want to say Costa Rica or something. One of those teams around there, something like that. Yeah, they beat somebody to get to the. That's good.
Cup, yeah. Well, hopefully we won't suck in the World Cup, but our record's not that good.
Because the ladies are always tearing it up, but the guys.
Oh yeah.
At least the guys are qualifying now. Used to be times they didn't even qualify.
Yeah.
So they're getting in there qualified. Angels are doing decent. They're hanging in there for the wild card. They're in the mix still. So that's.
Is it still like 7 teams within 4.5 games each other or something?
Something like that. Yeah.
That's great. That's going to go down to. There might be a playoff.
Games, yeah.
There might be a playoff game to see who makes the wild card.
Yeah, it could be.
Like a one game playoff to see who goes in the wild card. I've seen that happen before. You have teams that are tied. Because I think in baseball you can have that because they only just go by your records. Like other sports it goes to like total points scored or different. There's other tiebreaker things, and I think baseball just goes by your record right now. So if you have the same record at the end of the year, it doesn't matter what if you beat them 3 out of 4 times or whatever during the year or whatever. It doesn't go to head or conference or different things like that. They go to a playoff game to determine who makes it in, which I think is somewhat better.
Yeah.
You might get the home advantage if you have the head-to-head advantages like that.
Maybe that's the home. Yeah, maybe they exactly. Or maybe it's who won the All-Star game. This time it counts. Home field advantage. Right. It's the stupidest fucking thing ever.
Yeah, the Dodgers might set a club record or something and have to go on the road.
Go on the road in the World Series because it went 110 games and then have to go on the road because the American League won the All-Star game. Mm-hmm. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And they could end up on a team. They could end up playing like, say, some American League team makes like a wild card round and makes it to the World Series. And they may have only had one player in the All-Star game.
Yeah,
like that came in as a pinch hitter or something because every team has to have one player. Yeah. So it's just like
when the Royals won, they got hot at the end of the year. They stuck in the playoffs, and then they
were also a young team that didn't really care, and they went out there and played. You know, like young guys play, like, you know,
it's wild.
We'll just go out and play.
Buck wild.
There you go. So, I just want to say, you know, I have a friend that lives in Houston area right now, and he's they're going through some shit right now. Yeah. And there's another one coming that's going to hit Florida here in a few days, I guess, maybe Saturday or Sunday or something.
It was Category 5, now it's down to 4.
Well, it's still a 5 right now. It's projected to be a 4 when it hits the Keys or when it hits Florida. But, like, it's going to cruise through, like, the Virgin Islands at a Category 5. It's going to cruise through Cuba at a Category 5. By the time it hits Miami, they're saying it's going to be a Category 4. But it's the largest Atlantic tropical storm ever, like, in size, I guess. 190-mile-an-hour winds or something like that, which is fucking crazy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Dutch and Perth were right in Houston. Because I've been out there too and family, and they lost a lot of stuff. So it's like, they're safe, but it's like they have to rebuild. And so, it sucks. It really does.
Yeah, I sent a little donation over there. I figured whatever, little I can do.
Yep.
So I got a friend, family in Oklahoma, that part that borders Texas, but so they were safe.
Yeah. They got... I remember seeing my friend, they were posting pictures on their Facebook and just this, like, they're right by this Braze Bayou, like their apartment building's right next to that thing. So, luckily their side of the apartment didn't flood that much, but it still flooded, but it wasn't as bad as the other side of the apartment.
Yeah.
The side that was closest to the river got really bad.
Yeah.
But their side, and he actually parked him and his wife, they parked their trucks across the street. This, like, people left their house.
Right.
And so they parked up, like, as close to the house as possible, and the water came up to, like, their tires and stuff like that there. but it wasn't like he was still able to drive his truck.
Yeah.
He would, things like that. So, but if he would have left it in their car park port,
Right.
it would have been flooded. It would have been up to the doors.
Yeah.
Up to the windows. I mean.
Yeah. Two of my family members, they lost both cars. They lost them.
Yeah.
It's I made donations. It sucks. I have a. Yeah. It just sucks.
Yeah, it's
It
bad.
sucks. But
So yeah, there's that, and then Irma's coming in. Like I said, it's still Category 5 right now, but they're projecting when it hits landfall, because land slows it down. It picks up.
Yeah.
The reason it's all the warm water in the Caribbean and stuff like that funnels up into it, and that just keeps the speed up. But when it goes across land, it doesn't have that heat to fuel it anymore. So when it goes across land, it loses steam. So that's kind of what Florida's there for, though. Is in my mind, is just to block hurricanes. That's why it sticks down there. But but this thing looks like it's going to hit. They weren't sure if it was going to go to the west coast or east coast of Florida. Now it looks like it's going to stay and ride up along the east coast and maybe into the South Carolina, North Carolina, and then become a tropical storm up the east coast there. So
Like Florida Keys, not that area.
yeah, the Keys are just below Miami. Not too far below. But sorry, people, I'm trying to kill
it's still
bug.
alive.
I know. I don't know if he's dead or just embedded into the mic now, but we'll delete that out. Nope, he's still there.
Alive.
Oh well.
Okay.
But yeah, the Keys are the there's like the Greater Antilles, the Lesser Antilles, the little island nations out there, your Bermudas and all that kind of stuff, Bahamas, and then you get into Dominican Republic and Haiti and things like that, and then you get into Cuba and then up the Keys and then into actual mainland Florida. But U.S. Virgin Islands, all that stuff in there is all down in that area. Puerto Rico, that's all being affected right now by that. So, yeah, I think Trump stated it's a emergency for U.S. Virgin Islands, Cuba, Puerto Rico, and Florida. So
I know some people. Yeah, I know. I guess people in Florida, they already evacuated. They're already prepared. Like,
yeah.
and then,
Yeah, smart. Yeah,
Well, it's funny because people in Florida, they're evacuating up into probably either go to the other side of Florida, go to the west side of Florida, because it doesn't look like it's going to hit that side, or just go up into the Panhandle area or something like that. But then the people from the U.S. Virgin Islands and the Keys are actually just going into Florida.
yeah. Yeah.
So because I think the U.S. Virgin Islands or one of Bahamas or one of those down there, I think the highest point on the island is like 10 feet above sea level.
Okay.
And they're looking at getting 3 to 4 foot storm surge on this, or 5 foot storm surge. So that means half the island's going to be underwater. If it's if the highest point is 10 feet,
wow,
then the whole thing is going to be underwater. So he said that you can hide from the wind. This guy was I was just watching the news earlier. He goes, you can hide from the wind, you can't hide from the water.
Yeah.
So that's why they're moving. He said being in a 8-story hotel building in Miami is better than they won't get flooded there.
Right.
They can hide inside of the rooms and things like that from the wind.
Yeah.
But they're not going to get flooded out in a in a hotel room there. So, which makes sense.
Yeah.
So, they want to live that tropic lifestyle down there. Then you're going to deal with hurricanes.
Yeah.
But I think it's funny that all these. CNN had an article that said that hurricanes are sexist because when they name them, it's sexist when they name them because people they said if you name a hurricane Priscilla, not that many people are going to evacuate. But if you name it Bruno, it sounds like a tougher name, then more people will evacuate. So so Harvey people left because it was named Harvey, and Irma because it's sounds like this old lady's name that they're going to stay.
Wow.
So CNN had this whole article on their CNN.com or whatever it is on their internet about how this sexism of hurricanes exists and how they name them. So even hurricanes now are subject to
PC.
PC culture, social justice.
Wow.
So how do we know that the hurricane isn't non-binary and it's maybe it's man and woman, maybe it's who knows what its gender is?
Right. Who knows?
That's the thing. Maybe it's the LGBTQ. Like I said in our first podcast ever. Eventually, they're going to take up the entire alphabet, and we're not even through the year, and they pretty much are taking up the entire alphabet. I think there's 16 characters in the thing now.
I don't know.
There's S and X's and little other symbols and different things. So
I lost count.
Yeah, it's funny how liberals in their social justice thing always blame Republicans and conservatives for being anti-climate, anti-climate change, right?
Yeah.
We're anti-science because of climate change, right?
Yeah.
So we don't believe in the science of climate change. We don't believe in this because for whatever it is, right? For whatever reason, we're anti-science. Yet you cannot you can't flip that around on liberals and say a life is a life at what point with abortion, because then they're being anti-science. But we can't say they're anti-science, and you can't say that there are two genders. There's male and female.
Okay, right.
That's science.
Yeah.
But the liberals now want to have all these other little things in there.
Gender
so
neutral,
who is really who is anti-science now? You're anti-science when it fits you, or is somebody truly anti-science?
It all depends. Okay, most conservatives are based on, when you talk about abortion and stuff like that, it basically is when do you think concept life, you said, when concept life started, and what the religious views are. Like, if you think it's, that's the only excuse they have is abortion. If it's,
there's scientific fact of when a life of a child in the womb can live on its own.
Yeah.
There's a certain point when that can actually happen.
But if you, like, if, for example, a little fetus or whatever,
and I agree. And does that? But is that still a life? It still has a chance of becoming a life.
Yeah.
Okay. So anything can happen. You can. Whatever. Take the abortion thing out of it, because that's just the morality clause in the abortion is what. And I agree with you. There is the morality, religious beliefs, things like that get in there. But I still believe there is at one point that you can take that child out of the womb and it will survive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So that's scientific.
Yeah.
Yet liberals still on the liberals or whatever you want, however you want to describe it, leftists want to say that an abortion is still legal up until the child's actually born, like the day before the due date, or even partial birth abortions are legal.
Yeah.
So when that's now you're taking a life in my view.
That's murder.
Because if that child can live on its own.
Right.
Take it out and it'll live on its own. It can breathe and stuff like that on its own now. That is murder.
Yeah, because there's a big difference between 2 months and 7 months.
Yeah,
huge difference.
And that's science. That's scientific fact.
Right.
So, yes, there is climate change. Okay, climate changes all the time. Things like that. But if you question climate change, a full on social justice warrior for climate change, Bernie Sanders style, like if you question them at all, you are just anti-science. You're anti-science. Well, no, I'm not anti-science. I'm just bringing in other scientific points of view, and they say, well, all scientists believe this or all scientists believe that, things like that. But go with the gender thing alone.
Okay.
How many genders are there?
Two. Boy and girl.
Oh well, you're not a leftist. You don't believe in somebody can choose to be.
No, I think it's someone's choice. Let's say if you're a boy and a guy, you can go be a girl if you want. You can do that.
Naturally, there's two.
Yeah, naturally it's two. And it's some have but some people are born both parts.
But when you get down to chromosome level, there's still only two.
Well, yeah,
It's very
but
rare.
I mean, if it's rare, so okay. Let's say for example that rare instance, because it does happen rarely, but happens.
What's that called?
Hermaphrodites.
Yeah. So what would you?
Or chicks with dicks, if you prefer.
Right.
I mean, there's multiple terms.
Yeah.
Dixie chicks, or is it?
No.
So then, what would you? What gender? What would you do? Would you let you just choose? Be a boy or a girl, or you let the hermaphrodite choose for itself?
If they're an actual hermaphrodite, you're saying,
you do? Yeah.
Well,
because this is where the liberals come and say, let them choose.
I would say this: what does their scientifically? What are they? Chromosome wise, what are they?
What is say?
What are they? Are they capable of getting pregnant, or are they capable of impregnating?
What does say right now they're capable of impregnating?
Then that's a man.
Okay, and getting pregnant to go.
Yeah.
Right. So,
as far as the human species goes,
Right.
that is correct.
Yeah.
Now and then people get into, well, what about seahorses? Well, I don't give a fuck about seahorses. They're fucking asexual, like cell, barely above a cell.
Right.
Like it's, well, the seahorse man can get pregnant, and they just, okay, whatever, dude. Like, you know, I don't give a fuck about seahorses. I don't give like single cell organisms. I don't care.
No.
I'm talking about human beings, the species of human beings. Like I said, there's one race, the human race. Right. In that race, there's two genders, male and female. Right. That's it. Maybe that's too simplistic for me, but I mean, if you're gay, you're gay. If you're queer, which to me I think is the same thing. But according to the LGBTQ, there are two distinct different things in there. Transgender, bi, you know, lesbian. What if that's? I don't care. Like if you like what you like, you like what you like. Right. Okay, that's like coming to me and saying, "Oh, you're just a straight white male." Yep. Yeah. But you know what? I like white girls, I like black girls, I like Asian girls, I like Latina girls. I like red hair. I don't really like short hair. Yeah. So, but we get into the things we actually like about people, and then so that's all. So don't tell me what to like that way, and I'm not telling you what to like other ways. But there's just two genders.
Yeah. Okay.
That's science.
Right.
So who is anti-science? Because they believe they believe that these non-binary type genders are actually that way. Like you can go through YouTube and scroll through videos after videos of people on there that are.
Right. Well, okay. Well, here's the thing.
I don't know what they are. Yeah. I mean, but looking at them, I look at it and go, okay, I think you're a little strange in the way you act and talk and walk and dress. But
is that affecting your lifestyle at all?
No, it doesn't affect me at all. Nothing affects me. I don't care.
I mean, then why making a big deal about it?
Because when it comes down to when I get attacked for saying something, like schools right now are basically going into this. You can't call them boys and girls in class anymore. You can't, as a teacher, come in and go, "Hello, boys and girls."
Yeah.
You get fired for that now, so that does affect me.
And now they're creating a different bathroom.
They're creating different,
whatever they want to do. I mean, that's too much for me.
The London Underground tube system they have there for their subways is changing their greeting, like that comes on the "Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You know, please, remain seated during this, ride or whatever it is. But now it's going, "Hello, everyone." So when you start changing things, when people are getting fired because they're not saying, like a little girl got, just recently, she came back from like kindergarten into first grade, okay? Yeah. She was used to hang out with this boy in kindergarten, and they used to play and be friends and stuff like that. And then they went away for summer, and when they came back to school, she went up to him and says, called him, "Hey, Charlie, how you doing?" Right. And he got mad because his name isn't Charlie anymore. It's like Charlene now because... As a first grader, he decided this summer that he was going to be a woman now. He wants to be identified as a little girl, not a little boy anymore. Okay. There's a fucking problem with that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Exactly.
Okay?
I agree.
When that little girl gets suspended from school because she used his name that she knew before, there's a problem with that. Okay. When you have a private school in Orange County in Yorba Linda, that their child, he or she, I don't know what, I think it was a boy that wants to be a girl now. Okay. Or it may have been a girl that wants to be a boy now, that 8 years old wants to change its identity, and they go to school, and the school basically still calls him and puts him in, whatever boys, girls classes or whatever they had, and they're suing the school now for it. I have a problem with that.
Yeah, but that's private school. That's private school usually.
But the other one, it was public school. When my tax dollars are being used for bullshit stuff like that, I have a problem with it. So yes, it does affect me.
Okay.
Now, I don't want my tax dollars going to bullshit stuff.
Right.
I'm tired with the whole PC thing in general because if I'm in an emergency and I'm going to help somebody, maybe even help save somebody's life or something, the way I talk, the way I sound, I don't care. I'm taking care of business. This has to get done. It has to get done now. Right. I'm not worried about what I said, what to who, and everything. There's the urgency. I got to get it done.
And therefore, but in Oregon now, you have the choice of putting on your driver's license. You can mark F for female, male for male, or X for anything else you want.
See, that's not to me.
So now, if you are a victim of a accident, okay, you're in Oregon, some car hits you, you get run off the road, and you hit a tree, and you're in a ditch, and the police show up, and they walk up and go, "Ma'am, are you okay?" And you're like, "I don't identify as a ma'am. I'm a man. I identify as a whatever." And now they're going to sue the cops because he misidentified her in this accident scene. Or you walk up and go, "Oh, who hit you? What? Oh, it was a guy who was 6 foot tall, looked like he was wearing a dress, but he was going up the, he ran up the street that way.
Right.
So now you go over the radio. Well, we're looking for a man that's 6 foot tall, wearing a dress, and you get there and it's it's a woman,
Right.
or it's somebody who wants to be a ex whatever. There's so many different fucking names of these things now.
Right.
I mean, there's tons of them.
Yeah.
And they can just go, I want to identify as a houseplant.
Yeah.
So you didn't identify me as a houseplant. You were looking for a 6 foot tall man in a dress.
Yeah.
I'm a houseplant.
No,
So
I have a problem with that. That's extreme. That's way
but
too extreme.
they're all to the extreme.
Right.
It's male and female. That's it. End it right there. There's no extreme then.
Right.
It's black and white. There is no gray. I don't want gray area. Okay. So when things like that are affecting tax dollars and affecting that, then I have a problem with it.
Then we should do something to vote and change it.
That's part of the reason I left I went over this before. That's one part of the reasons I left my old job is I got tired of the PC stuff. When stuff's on my back and on my neck and my head's on the line, if someone's messing up, I say, hey, you need to get it together, get your shit in gear. I don't care how it sounds because if that's the truth, and I think I'm right, then that's the way I'm going to say it. I'm not saying cuss them out, but I'm saying if I got to put my foot down a little bit and I got to be a little stern, I don't have to be like all prissy and pronounce things a certain way. I'm in a certain situation. I can't got time to be all PC. It just takes too much time and takes too much room in the circle.
Their sensibilities.
They're offending mine because I got to come in on my day off. I want to eat today. I mean,
you're offending their sensibilities. You can't offend their sensibilities. They were given participation awards for every sporting event or everything at school
for showing up.
Yeah. So the same size trophy was given to them for finishing in dead last place as it was for the person who actually worked hard and practiced and finished in first. So don't offend them, okay?
Right.
They're called snowflakes for a reason. They're all snowflakes because we're all unique. We're all unique our own little way. And you know what? When I wrap you in a fucking snowball, you're all one fucking snowball. So fuck off.
Yeah.
Man,
you're a snowbank now. You turn into a fucking ice cube. You're no longer a snowflake.
But it's been going on since we have the bigots and you have the snowflakes. It's been going on since beginning of time. Not beginning of time, but it's not going to end. It's going to be. It's going to hit a boiling point. Maybe this year when Trump or something, and it's going to explode. And that's when the.
I think that's why Trump got elected, is because a lot of people got fed up with this bullshit stuff.
Yeah, back in the day when I was 5 or 6 years old, and you're in the street, and your parents say, "Get the fuck out the street." They'd save your life to get the fuck out the street. That's what it meant.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have no please and sir and get out the damn street. I mean, that's. You're not getting hit by a car or get out the street, one or the other. I mean, I'm getting tired of all this.
He's heated right now,
stuff,
everybody. He is mad. Otis is mad. He is fuming right now.
We can deal after the fact. We have the hospital getting sewn together again if it's PC or not.
Okay, speaking of the hospital thing, do you what that cop who was that nurse for not giving him the?
She didn't draw blood because they didn't have a proper warrant.
Do you think that was? What do you think? Proper cause? Do you think that was right? Or do you think it was wrong for the cop to do that?
Okay, I saw headlines of this. I have not seen the whole video, and I do not know the whole story.
I saw a portion of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've probably seen 25 seconds of it. Right? Okay, the whole thing.
Yeah.
From my understanding, is this: she refused to draw blood because they didn't have a warrant.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. If they don't have a warrant, then that's that. But what were they trying to draw blood for? Was he a DUI, or he or she was a DUI?
Yeah, they go to car accident, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Was he unconscious or something?
Yeah, he was unconscious. Yeah.
Here's the thing: I've had a friend that got a DUI because they drew blood to the hospital after the fact.
Okay.
When he was out of it too.
Right.
So, but he was driving drunk. So, here's the thing: are you going to let them draw blood if they just suspect you from driving drunk versus suspect you from you're suspected of raping 12 children,
right?
Okay, and they want it, and you're in they know it's you. They go after you. They find kids in your house.
Yeah.
There's a firefight with you. You're shot. You're knocked out, and then you're in the hospital.
Right.
They want to take your blood to find out if your DNA actually matches what they have on record for so and so. Okay, can they do that?
In that case, I think they should be able to do that. Yeah.
It's without a warrant.
Yeah.
So they can't. Legally, they can't.
Yeah, legally, they can't. Yeah.
So here's the thing. I think legally, she was correct.
Okay.
Okay. Could she have picked a better way to fight that, or let that individual lawyer and things like that fight
Right.
that eventually, let that get thrown out in court as being
Right.
collected illegally.
Yeah.
Maybe, like, I'm not going to get arrested for somebody else
Right.
unless it's somebody I actually fucking know and care about.
Yeah.
But I mean, what I think she did was legally correct.
Right.
Was it smart? Yeah, maybe not.
I mean,
maybe
she called
should.
like her supervisor called everybody. This is the guy. Here's what's happening. Can I do this? He said no. The guy said no. You can't do this legally on the phone, on the speakerphone.
Yeah.
And she still got arrested for it. So that she did everything right, in my opinion. And
I agree,
yeah.
but maybe she should have just drawn the blood and then find out who that guy is and say, listen, you were out. They made us draw your blood. We didn't want to. It was done under protest. Use your attorney to say, listen, they took his blood illegally. They didn't have a warrant to do it, and we did it anyways.
Yeah.
And then let the lawyers figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, it could have gone down better. She wouldn't have got arrested. She wouldn't have been dragged out. There wouldn't have been this whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
So there's what's right and there's what's smart, you know. And what she did is right and correct, I think, legally and morally in a way too. But it wasn't maybe the smartest thing to do.
Okay.
So maybe just draw it and then follow up, or let your supervisors follow up, and then you follow up with that individual and say, hey, get in contact with his attorney and his lawyer and what's going to go on from there, and then you do it that way. Let the legal system work the way the legal system's supposed to work. That shouldn't get thrown out by any attorney would get that thrown out immediately.
Exactly.
If they don't have a warrant, you don't have access to it. If they didn't have that person's permission to give it, and you didn't, or you either have a warrant and you get it, or you ask that person's permission and he gives consent.
Yeah.
He wasn't able to give consent.
Yeah.
Any lawyer's going to have that thrown out. So, yeah, is it the correct thing to do? Was she correct in what she did? Yes. Was it smart in the way she handled it? Maybe not.
Okay.
So, I mean, yeah, the cop wants to just get it done.
Yeah.
And I understand why. They want to get him arrested and, thrown in jail for drunk driving, which I agree with. If you're drunk and driving, you should be arrested. So I have no problem with that.
Yep.
But they're still got to go through the legal system of doing it.
All right. Let's see. Anything else going on in the world?
I don't know. You want to talk about Melania Trump's shoes?
Oh, yeah, the hurricane thing. How she got so much crap for that, which I don't think it's a big deal.
She
it's not a
wore
big deal.
heels onto.
The flooding.
No, she wore them onto the plane, onto Air Force, onto the helicopter, Marine One, and then onto Air Force One. And then when she got, that was in D.C.
Right.
When they got to Texas, she was wearing tennis shoes.
Okay, like I said, it's not a big
So
deal.
people, I mean, just that's the thing. Like I've said before, Trump could cure cancer, and people would still find something to attack him for it.
Well, the whole DACA thing.
All right, let's talk about DACA.
Let's
Let's
talk
get
about
into
DACA. All right. Well, we all know that we're going to agree on this already. So,
Oh, we are?
oh, guaranteed
shit,
we
sorry.
are. Yeah.
All right.
Here's my thing about DACA. It's don't punish the kids for their parents' mistakes. Now, let's see, if you contribute inside, if you're working, had to be something, and you're paying, let them stay. Like, they're not affecting you. Like, you're doing your part, you're doing society contribute, you're doing it fine. Now, if you're a criminal and stuff like that, and you do a crime, then you have to go.
Yeah.
But if you're actually working, graduating, going to school, becoming something, let them stay. It's not that big deal. Now, if you, like, let's say, for example, find, like, another guy and him bring him over the door, keep on doing that, that's not right. But if your parents here did it for you, and there's no problem with that. I have no problem.
So do you have a problem with what Trump did?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do.
What problem do you have? So Trump ended Obama in, when was it, 2012 or something like that? That's our 58 minutes, but we'll keep talking about this. We got time. So Obama signed this under executive order, this Dreamers Act, the DACA, which is if you're a illegal, you come here, you have kids here, if you become a citizen here or whatever, then your kids can stay because it wasn't really their choice to come here. Yet they were educated here in schools, and then they're going to college, and then now they're working or whatever it is. And I have friends that were affected by could and were affected by this act. So, and one of them just became a citizen. He's met him, and then his sister actually became a citizen when her mom became a citizen because she was under the age of 18.
Right.
So they're able to stay, and she's a great person in society, and she has a great job, and she does a lot of social work and things like that, and it's great. So. But what Obama did was sign it under executive order.
Right.
Okay. All executive orders are not law.
Right.
Only Congress makes law.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not a law; it's an executive order, which then can be the executive orders are they're kind of temporary laws in a way. If they get challenged, either Congress can eventually make them into laws, or they get challenged by the Supreme Court and get like thrown out, say it is illegal or it is legal to do this. Then also, next presidents in line can basically just one president signs this. I'm going to make today, whatever, September 6th, 2017. I'm going to call this, National Czechoslovakian Awareness Day. Right. Okay. And for 3 years while he's still in office, and then the next president comes in and goes, nope, September 6th is now National Ethiopian Day.
Yeah.
It's no longer Czechoslovakian Day. And that's executive order. That's how things get So there's petty things that are done, like little things, and there's big things that happen like this too, in executive order. Yeah. Executive orders, some of them only after so many years wear out, like 10 years, 12 years, and then it's done. Like it's a temporary thing. This is one of the ones that the next president can sign it out of existence, basically. Yeah. So what he did is he actually agrees with the Dreamer Act in a way.
Okay.
He wants them to stay and be members of society.
Right.
But what he wants it to do is he gave 6 months for Congress to sign it into law.
Right. To fix, yeah.
So I heard a good analogy this was put. Okay. It's not like it's like President Obama gave you a car, okay, and then President Trump comes in and he's not taking the car away. Right. Well, he's taking this car away, but what he's saying is, hey, let's go to the dealership together and get you a really good deal, get you a good financing, get you a way to get this on your own so you can keep this car for yourself now. Right. Nobody can take it away from you now. Okay. We'll find a way for you to actually keep this.
Right.
That's what he did. He's finding a way for Congress to sign it into law and make it illegal for these people to stay.
Right.
So he put a time limit on it
for 6
and
months.
Said, "Figure it out, Congress.
Yeah.
Make this law."
Okay.
He's not taking it away.
Okay. Do you think, let's say in 6 months, if they don't get anything done, then what's happened?
Then I think he might sign an executive order to either manipulate it somehow. I think he wants to keep them here. I think he does. He wants to keep the good people here. He wants to keep the bad hombres out.
Right.
He said that the whole time.
Okay.
People misunderstood when he said they're sending us our rapists and killers and murderers and drug dealers. He was saying, he goes, they're not sending us our good people. These are the good people. These are the ones that are going to college. And they're not kids. We're not talking about 8 and 9-year-old kids anymore. We're talking about young adult college-age kids now. Because of when this was affected. It only affected a certain group of people.
Right.
There was 200, 300,000 people or something affected. He's not trying to kick them out of the country, but everybody thinks he's trying to kick them out of the country.
Right.
So I don't know. It's still waiting 6 months. Okay. I think what he's trying to do is he's trying to make it into law versus executive order.
Okay. But if it's not broke, don't fix it.
I guess we got to wait and see, I guess.
Yeah, we're waiting 6 months.
But it is broke because they need to do they're doing Congress has to do immigration reform anyways.
Right.
That's on the that's in place to take place and happen.
Right.
So they're trying to throw this in with the whole Immigration Reform Act, which also comes with building a wall or whatever. Whether it's going to be a wall or a fence or security or better security or like lasers and a pit with sharks and alligators in it. Who knows?
Tunnels, bombs.
So whatever they're going to build, but that's all part of this. It's all getting wrapped into one thing. He's the big picture businessman. Right. He wants to see everything and go, okay, where's this part? Where's this piece go? So this room is going to be this. This room is going to be that. This floor is going to be this. This floor is going to be that. All right, I need my contractor here for this. I need my flooring people here. I need my woodworkers here. I need my elevator people here. I need my glass people over here now. Like all this stuff has come together, and that's what he's doing. He's trying to bring all this together, but anything he does, he gets shit for it.
Yeah. That's like Obama, same thing. Every
no.
Every president's going to do.
There's 90% of the media is leaning left.
Okay. No.
So during Obama...
When Obama was in the office, not the media. When Obama was in office, Republicans would not work with him. They would not work with him at all. And you know this.
Because he went around them. They tried to work with him, and he went around them on Obamacare.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, what's his name? Mitch McConnell was against him before he even got sworn in.
Yeah.
Mitch McConnell basically said, "Fuck you" for even sorting it.
I don't like it. I'd say fuck you to Mitch McConnell. So
I mean, it's just one. If let's say we have a Democrat in office in 2020, Republicans do the same.
Here's
thing.
the thing,
It's not gonna work. Get in the
because
Green Party.
which is what I've said for a long time, that politics now is like the sports mentality. It's
Yeah.
your team versus my team, and nobody works with anybody.
Right.
That's why Congress has less than a 15% approval rating right now.
Yep.
Okay, that all shit needs to change.
Yeah.
I think bringing Trump in and a businessman is a smart thing to do. It's just I think if the Democrats would have done it, I mean, still the Republicans wouldn't have worked with them. Right. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be better than a two-party system. We need to have a 5 or 6 party system that are all equal in power.
Yeah.
Okay, not just this two-party thing that gets colluded. Everybody has their special interest groups. Everybody has whatever factory in their county that makes jobs and makes them money and gives them money and donates, and that's their special interest. Whether it's a factory or business, whether it's a union, whatever it happens to be, everybody's getting money, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I think term limits, I've said it before, we need to have term limits, we need to have lifetime service limits, and get these people in, let them serve their community, and go out and do other work for yourself now.
Yeah.
Don't live off my fucking tax dollar. Let's figure this shit out. And this is why, as a conservative, I want smaller government, not bigger. I want the number of people, all these outside jobs, all this. I mean, the how big Washington is, how big our federal government is ridiculous. Yeah.
And half the people in office, probably half of them or close to it, are not even qualified. Someone got elected because
they're a popularity contest.
Their daddy was Senator so and so.
Yeah,
and they're you got 3 and 4 generations.
Or because they have a certain unions behind them, and they give them money, or they're a certain race, and then their race ends up voting for them because of it. So let's take Maxine Waters, who represents like the shittiest part of the L.A. hood area, right?
Yeah. And I don't like
Compton, Watts, all that shit.
She did a horrible job.
She's still in office?
Yeah, I know.
She's been in office for 20-something years. Yeah. Okay, where does she live?
Downtown.
Bel Air.
Yeah, downtown. Oh, yeah.
No, she don't live in the hood.
She doesn't even live in the district she represents. There's a problem with that.
Yeah.
If you don't live where you represent, you're not a good representative.
Yeah.
But because she's black and she speaks for the people and they follow her, and she got like the Jesse Jacksons and all that behind her back in the day, and she was fighting for them, they vote for her.
Yeah.
But she's a shitty fucking human being, dude.
Yeah.
She's an idiot when you hear her talk.
Yeah.
She doesn't do anything that's actually good for. What has she done good for that community?
Nothing.
That community's been shit for a long time, and it's still becoming shit.
Yeah.
They
hasn't done anything good.
They do a little something when they first get the job to get the job, but then after that,
And then what they do? Oh, they blame the other side the whole rest of the time. Well, I'm trying to get this done, but the old white man that's in charge of Washington, he's keeping me down.
Right.
No, it's bullshit. Ain't no white man in Washington. You had a black president. You had you had full Democrat control of Senate, Congress, and the White House, and you still couldn't get shit done with a black president. Yeah. Okay? Tell me a city that has Democratic leadership in it for the last 40, 50, 60 years that is prospering.
A Democratic system?
Yes.
A major city
in the last 50 years that has been under Democrat control the entire time that is prospering.
Let's see,
probably Vegas.
Baltimore?
Okay.
Yeah, but Vegas had a Republican governor for a long time too. And they was actually pretty strong Republican back and forth. The entire time, Baltimore, how about that?
Right. No, that's good.
Oh, yeah. Detroit?
Yep, bad.
Chicago?
Bad.
Okay. L.A.?
Yeah, parts are bad.
Parts of
LA.
Yeah. LA is in dire needs of a lot of shit. Okay, we're dead fucking broke. The state of California is dead fucking broke. Yeah. It's been under major Democrat control for a long, long time.
Right.
Okay?
Well, it will be most likely.
So, let's see, Miami.
Miami's doing all right.
No, Miami has money, but there's parts of Miami that
there's problems.
Shit.
Well, that's
But your major city, your Baltimore, Chicago,
right.
Philly, Philadelphia.
Yeah.
New York goes back and forth, but New York is so big and has so much money coming in that they can afford to be like that. New Jersey, there's some.
Chris Christie,
but he's the governor. Yeah. But Newark, the city of Newark is shit, and they've been under Democrat control for a long time. But you just take Detroit, Chicago, Baltimore, big Philadelphia, big cities like that.
Yeah.
St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh yeah, St. Louis is bad.
That's Ferguson, Missouri is just it's closer to downtown Missouri than probably it's definitely closer than Pomona is to downtown LA.
Yeah.
It's probably half that distance.
Right.
It's like 12, 15 miles away from the downtown of St. Louis.
Right.
Like West Covina to LA or
Yeah.
something. Kind of thing.
Yeah, it's almost like Baldwin Park to LA. It's
Jesus.
probably like that close.
Wow.
It's close.
That is
okay?
close.
Yeah.
It's like not Echo Park, but Baldwin Park, like
Right.
VP area. It's that
Yeah.
close. Okay?
So
And that whole area, it's ghetto. It's
Right.
a lot of that is ghetto, and
Yeah.
a lot of those cities are in the ghetto,
Yep.
and they're all piss poor run. They're all in debt.
Right.
Their counties are in debt. The city's in debt. The crime is bad. The job rate is down,
Yeah.
and they're all Democrat controlled cities.
Right.
So
But-
why not? So
Okay.
what have those Democrat leaders done in the last 50, 60
just
years?
take the
for those
money
people?
and win.
Exactly.
Take money and win. You know.
So
But
stop voting
let's just
Democrat.
say-
That's my point.
I only voted Democrat one time my whole life, and now everyone's saying I'm a Democrat. I voted one time.
Well, people
One
should
time.
vote. What I want to say is qualified. Could be independent guy. Could be
Yeah.
Republican guy. Look at the issue. Look at the candidates, and
Right.
take it upon yourself to say, okay, which person is good for this job? Which person is good for that job, and so on. You don't just be, oh, I'm this party, and
Actually.
Oh, yeah, I've never
yeah.
voted along party lines.
Yeah,
Just blindly.
yeah. I've always tried to mix it up a little bit, and just
Yeah,
and-
I mean, like,
if a name you don't know, try to get some information on them.
Yeah.
Try to get a little homework.
Oh,
on
that's
them,
why.
you know?
Like when we vote here for judges.
yeah,
yeah.
How often do you actually research who those judges are?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, how many people do you actually think are just voting on a name?
Yeah.
They see a Hispanic last name.
Right.
Oh, I'm gonna vote for that guy.
Yep.
He's gonna get the Santa Ana vote and the Pomona
Yeah.
vote and things like. Oh, he's a Hispanic. He's a Hispanic last name.
Yeah.
Or if they're like on a commission for like school board and they put a D next to their name for
Yeah.
Democrat, they're gonna. Oh, they're a Democrat. Or they have a Hispanic last name. Or they're in a black hair and they're black. Or somebody that's
Yeah.
black. You know, they're voting because of that. That's not.
don't know their success rate in the job
Right.
or anything or experience or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you have to educate yourself when you vote, and I think that's a major problem in this country. Is the majority of the people in this country do not educate themselves with who is their elected officials.
Yeah.
Then they complain about the system. Well, you voted those people into that system.
Yeah.
So let's.
Or vote. Some people don't vote at all.
If you don't vote at all, don't complain.
Yeah. And that's like a lot of people, like, when Trump won, like, people voted for, like, Bernie Sanders and whatever. Yeah, but they didn't vote for Hillary. Like, you didn't vote for Hillary, but, like, no.
Speaking of that, real quick, did you see in her release in her new book
Her book? Oh, yeah. Well, I
how
saw some clips.
how she's blaming Bernie Sanders?
I didn't hear that part, no.
Oh,
I
she
heard
blamed-
something like that.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
didn't
hear
hear
all
that.
that.
It came
I heard
out
something about it.
yesterday or Monday or something like that about
Okay.
how she's blaming Bernie Sanders and how he went after her in the primaries and said that she's like, you know, kind of a, I don't know, nasty woman or bad or whatever.
Right.
'Cause there was something he said, and then she's blaming him now for her losing. Because what he said in their debates
Right.
carried over into the general election,
Okay.
so she's blaming him now.
Wow.
So she's blamed, let's see, she's blamed the Mesopotamian people.
Yeah.
She's
Comey.
blamed the Russians. She blamed Comey. She blamed, FBI Comey. She's blamed probably her husband.
Right.
She's blamed obviously the undeplorables.
Yeah.
She blamed the middle of America, and now she's blaming Bernie Sanders, who she actually her convention,
Yeah, he was there.
her fellow cohorts went colluded against him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they cheated the system for her to win over him, and yet
Yeah.
she still blames him.
Yeah.
When is she blaming herself?
She won't blame herself. Maybe she won't. I don't
She
think
won't.
she
She's
will.
a fucking narcissist. She will never blame
Hillary's
herself.
like an old school mob boss. I mean, she's the way she does. I mean, actually, back in the day, she had somebody killed. I mean, with the Whitewater thing. I mean, Hillary's just a gangster and got caught up in her gangster stuff.
Do you think,
Right.
okay, do you think Trump ever had gangster mob and real estate mobs? Mob.
Probably had some money in there for different, you know.
If you're a businessman on the East Coast and you deal with construction, you're going to cross paths.
You're going to cross
You're
paths.
gonna
You're
cross
gonna,
paths.
you got to get you need dump trucks to get all your equipment out. Well, that company might be you need tractors to come in. Well, that company might be
Yeah.
Food delivery,
and that's all. And a lot of that's all union back there too.
Yeah.
It's all union. And who runs the unions? A lot of the old school mob bosses on the East
yeah.
Coast. So there is that. So you're going to run across it. But do you think he's mobbed up?
No.
No.
Is he doing business with companies that may be mobbed up?
Mobs? Yes.
But that's like, I mean,
It's unavoidable. They're so entrenched. The thing with the mob, there's so much real business.
yeah.
It's a real business that they're never going to totally get rid of them. They're always going to be, they can being involved in a casino in Vegas without running it.
Yeah, well, look
without
at
without even walking into it.
The movie Goodfellas. They actually hired mob. They're actually on the setting. This is how it's supposed to be done.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Well, there's different levels of mafia as well,
Right.
and there's different. You have your old school Italian, Sicilian mafia style. They're definitely into more real estate and more businesses and legit businesses now than they ever were.
Right.
The average age of who was talking about this recently? I forgot. We were talking about. I was in a conversation with this. The average age of an Italian mafia member, like I'm talking like 30 years ago or something like that. Do you know what the average age of a guy was?
Like 27?
35.
35? Okay.
35 is the average age of somebody in the Italian mafia. Okay. So that's your street runner.
Yeah.
He started when he was like 16, 17, but the average age was in 35. Do you know what the average age of a cartel member is right now?
10, 11 years old?
17.
17? Wow.
17 to 35 is a big difference.
Yeah.
The Russian mob, all those guys are like in their 20s, okay? But your cartels, they're all in their teens.
Right.
So it's a different game. Like when you're in your teens, you're going after a different game. You're going to run and gun. You're going to shoot them up, and do this and do that, right? But when you're 35, when you're 30, in your 30s, your life is a little different.
Yeah.
You're looking at, you want more legit businesses.
Right.
You may be still running some protection rackets and things like that.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's what a lot of the mob did was protection racket stuff. Okay, the Russian mob does runs a lot of girls, doesn't deal with a lot of drugs, but they run a lot of girls out of the Eastern Bloc and through the Middle East.
A lot of white collar stuff too.
Yeah.
And then a lot of white collar. They do a lot of protection as well, protection racket stuff. But they do protection racket on a big scale, like that white collar size.
Yeah.
But the Russian mob is way involved, and they're involved in utilities. They're involved with oil companies and things like that. Like it's a lot different than and the Russian mob is still fairly new compared to the Italians because the Russians weren't really a mob before because they were under communists.
Right.
But once they got a little taste, and the old communists, the old KGB, when they became into the capitalism world, they became the Russian mob. So, but it was run differently because they had control of all these different things. They had controls of shipping and trucking and things like that, all in across Europe, and that was all Russian mob stuff. So it's just different levels. Like the cartel level thing that's why there's so many shootings and so. It's just because your average age is 17.
It's out of control.
These guys aren't thinking
really
long term at 7. Nobody's thinking long term at 17. You think
Yeah.
you're invincible.
Yeah.
But the average age 17 is a big difference between 35.
Yeah.
So
35 is a made guy. He's a capo.
yeah.
He's he's going to be a little more astute with business and everything. They got guys. They had this one guy. I forgot his name. They called him the yuppie mobster. He was college educated, school at Wall Street stuff. He just had a different mentality. He was still hardcore to do stuff when he had to, but he had a business first mentality. I mean, he can put his foot down when he had to, but he had that because you can't make money when there's a war going on.
No, you can't.
With the families.
No.
Nothing comes in. It's a mess.
All right. Well.
So then we're all mobbed up now.
All right. So this is episode 26.
Episode 26, Hardheaded Productions podcast, brought to you as always by Havoc Pools, which I got a meeting with them next week to discuss some new stuff. So,
Cool.
yeah, like I said, any pool-related service, cleaning needs, stuff like that, Havoc Pools out of Corona, they'll take care of you.
Nice.
And that's pretty much it. What else do we have coming up? Anything new?
Nothing's new.
Gonna we watch that fight? You guys are both on the Triple G bandwagon still.
Yeah, you think Canelo's going to...
I'm still Canelo.
Canelo.
I'm going to go Canelo all the way.
Yeah, I think Triple G and a 11th round knockout late in the fight.
Oh, knockout.
I think it's going to be a war, though. I think there'll be a rematch. I think it'll be good enough where you might have a Duran Leonard thing going on there. Where you might have 2 or 3 fights. It's going to be a war. It's going to be a battle.
Do you think the Mayweather McGregor fight was good for boxing or bad for boxing?
It was good for boxing. Because McGregor held his own in the first 5 rounds. Like he did. He impressed me. He did better than I expected.
Oh yeah, I think it was good. I think I actually would give him 3 or 4 rounds won. Yeah. He did a really good job. He got a little tired about the 8th, 9th round, but yeah, he did I mean, to go in that form of fighting against a champion, not just some journeyman fighter, to go against a champion and hold your own for 10 rounds. Hey, good job.
Now, see, if I'm Mayweather, I'd capitalize and say, look, I'll sponsor you, come into boxing, I'll train you, and be a boxer. You make more money doing that than UFC. Way more money.
Well, UFC's the hottest ticket right now, so I would, if I was McGregor, I'd stay with UFC.
I think it helped boxing in a way because it brought it. That was a fun boxing match to watch.
Yeah.
It was the best boxing match that I've ever seen Floyd Mayweather in.
Okay.
He's never gone after somebody like that.
A long time
before,
since
in a
did that,
long
yeah.
time. 16 years. So, his last knockout was a cheap shot knockout before
Over
Ortiz.
Okay.
So it's been a long time since he actually went after somebody. Right. And he fought a completely different style than he'd ever fought before. But I think if Conor McGregor wouldn't have... I think if he knew he was going to gas out, then just go balls to the wall the first 3 rounds.
Right.
Like, full on, throw everything you can at him, come out, I'm like a fucking wild man.
Right.
And turn it into a dirty boxing thing. But I think it is good for boxing. I think more people will watch the Canelo Triple G fight now because that was such a good boxing match.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, hopefully boxing can come back. I used to like watching boxing. I haven't watched it in a long time, but I think it'll help.
Yeah, this is the bout that needs to be good because if something goes wrong, like a low blow or a headbutt or something in the third round, it's going to turn. But if this one's good, then it'll. Because the sport's making a small comeback. There's a few fighters that are interesting in the middleweights and the welterweights, and that you can get some good fights out of this if this one's good.
So you both thought the McGregor won at least 3 rounds, right?
Yeah,
easily.
Yep.
Maybe 4.
I think he won the first 3, and he probably actually might have won the 8 as well. Do you know what the official Nevada State Election Commission scorecards had him winning?
No.
I never got to look at
1 round.
Oh, that's
Wow,
BS.
that's
That's
bad.
BS.
Wow.
So there's a lot of question marks about that because of they were boxing refs. They had a boxing official in there that right when they started was looking right in McGregor's face and pointing at him and staring him down and saying, "You can't do this. You can't do that. You shouldn't do this. You don't do that." I mean, they put him on the defensive in a way right there in the beginning, like, whoa, why are you just telling me?
Yeah.
Like, you told me this already in the locker room. Why are you telling me right now in front of everybody?
Yeah.
Right before the fight starts. So there's already a lot. There seems like there was some bias leaning towards the boxing side.
Sounds like it. Yeah. Sounds like
And when the boxing officials only gave him 1 round out of they went 9 complete.
Right.
That's some chicken shit.
Yeah.
That's some scandalous.
Right.
And here's the problem. That's why I have the problem with boxing. This is why I have a problem with officials. Anyways, I've talked about this before and what I think is a real sport and what isn't a sport.
Yeah.
When somebody is judging you, I think it's bullshit.
Yeah.
So, but there's got to be another way to finish it, and that's it. So we're going to finish this podcast, though. Thanks for coming, guys.
Yep.
We'll try to start doing this once a week again, and we'll see you. Talk to you next time. Bye.
right here.